Bea is a strong-willed, motivated young woman who's very smart and compassionate. When she was 10 years old, her and the family lived in Salem, and she saw a story about some homeless people who lived under the Marion Street Bridge. And it was cold, it was in the wintertime, and she realized that these people needed to stay warm. So her and her sister, Maddie, decided to make some greeting cards. And they went out around their little community in their neighborhood. Maddie walking behind Bea in the wheelchair, and they sold their greeting cards. And with the money they made from those greeting cards and a little help from some others, they were able to purchase 30 sleeping bags to present to those people who were living under the bridge. Bea and her sisters, Maddie and Lizzie, went on to raise thousands of dollars to help people literally all around the world. She started a business called Helpful Hearts. It's a nonprofit, 501c3, and she developed a website, 10 years old. They've been featured in newspapers, magazines, and on TV. Bea was recently named as one of the 5 women who rock Central Oregon. Bea inspired her dad, and he's received a doctorate in assistive technology and how it's implemented in higher education. We're very proud of him. But we're pretty proud of Bea too. She's been in higher education. She's earned her associate's degree with honors. As a board member of Helpful Hearts, I'm honored to know Bea, and I support all she does. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
my name is Brittany B. Peterson. I am 22 years old. I should not be your emergency contact. I can only drive 4.5 miles per hour. I am more suited to aid in artistic emergencies such as stopping you from watching Sleepless in Seattle. God, that movie is terrible. He drives around for an hour and a half looking for Meg Ryan, then doesn't kiss her at the end. The primary way I express myself is through art. This can vary from doing an Instagram post to getting out my 80-year-old typewriter and writing a letter. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, Bea, you have excellent motor control. This is a false assumption. When I sneeze, my whole entire body falls forward and knocks my water to the floor. My fundamental needs will constantly need to be supported by my family, but as I get older, gain more independence, and grow dreams of my own, I find myself in an ongoing quest to encounter those who are invested in helping me become the person I've always wanted to be. When pregnant with me, my mom contracted a rare form of food poisoning called Listeria that caused me to be born with cerebral palsy. CP can affect people in various degrees. In my case, it's confined me to a wheelchair. I spent years in intensive physical therapy trying to walk, but after a while it became a hassle. I wasn't reaching my fullest potential, so my parents took me out. I got my first wheelchair when I was 6. When we arrived to pick it up, they taught me how to use it. Instead of going slow and being careful, I rammed the joystick and drove faaaaaaaaar away from my parents. This was my first taste of independence. Caregivers are enablers at their core. They can enable you to explore the world vastly or shrink it down so small you forget that it's even there. Finding the right amount of enabling is like playing the boss level in Super Mario. The first 200 times you suck and you don't even get to Bowser. The 201st time, you surprise yourself and get to the castle and win the game. The victory music plays and you fall graciously into Princess Peach's arms. I didn't know caregiving was going to be so much like a video game when I first started having caregivers at 18 years old. I thought people were going to be my enablers, but it turned out that people used me as their enablers at times. This manifested itself in caregivers mothering me or caregivers treating me like the younger sister they never had. None of them have functioned as the arms and legs I wanted. I remember, once, an older caregiver refused to serve me more ice cream because, please picture me doing air quotes here, it wasn't healthy for me. On outings, younger caregivers have complained about how long our outings took. These were simple outings like going to the library, eating out, and even hanging out with best friends. These manifestations have made it very difficult for me to be truly independent from my parents. These manifestations have made me afraid to move out of the house for fear that caregivers aren't going to be reliable and even possibly leave me stranded in bed. But slowly, I have beat Bowser. Recently, I got invited to participate in Kids Heal, an after-school program that teaches kids about healthy eating and disability, run by my mentor Frank Chani in Portland. This is all thanks to my caregivers Sean and Lana, who are here today. We met through my mom, who is an expert when it comes to combing through caregiver databases. Sean and Lana are the first caregivers who have neither mothered me or criticized what I wanted to do. When I wanted to eat cheeseburgers for breakfast and dinner, Sean drove me to my favorite restaurant. When I wanted to drink wine, Alana helped me uncork the bottle and pour me a glass. I spit it out afterwards, but that's not the point. The point is that I wasn't being controlled by someone else's standards, I was setting my own. One highlight from my trip to Portland was going to a dance club. I've been known to turn up the music in my headphones so loud that everyone in my house can hear Kanye West, so naturally, the club seemed like it could be my home away from home. Earlier in the day, the ramp on my car wasn't coming out because apparently it needs a caregiver as well. So, Sean and I made sure we parked extra close to the curb at the club to make sure I could drive out. That was a horrible idea. Since it was dark, we didn't really know what happened until the next morning. We tore the bottom half of the door off of the van. Luckily, we were able to take it home as a souvenir because we found it in broad daylight in the street the next day. Shoving our anxieties aside, Sean and I went into the club. Let me tell you one thing about Sean, she's a great wing woman. She helped me make friends with everyone in the club. At one point, drunk girls started chanting, "Being's awesome," at the top of their lungs while dancing around me like second graders. After I left, I was struck with the thought that this was my second wave of independence, thanks to someone else's support. The common misconception about independence is that it's something that must be pursued alone. We're taught that success in society is because of one person's efforts, not a group. For me, it's the opposite. I am successful in society because I have a team of people behind me devoted to helping me contribute to society. This is what Living Opportunities strives to provide for people of all abilities. Through their many services, allowing people to live independently as well as gain employment, they enable people with special needs to create a positive, long-lasting contribution to their community. And this is why we need the help of everyone here today, to ensure they continue to offer these valuable or important services well into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany, and everyone else for sharing your remarkable stories. You guys are making this really hard on me. You remind us of all the power and importance of the work being done at Living Opportunities and what can be done